Nobody wants AI data centers. This is a Tim Dillon clip. I think Tim Dillon is kind of funny, in a little bit of a like arrogant, self-assured way, but he kind of rolls with it. That's kind of his persona. So
homeowners in Georgia are being given an ultimatum to sell their homes.
And honestly, I feel like most of the time he's usually just right about what he says.
Or the state will get this, take it to make way for AI data centers.
Yes,
CBS News
of course.
Skylar Henry
So what's
has
the
more.
problem?
I'm a single mom. I worked hard for everything.
How do you put a price on a
So
home
what?
you never intended to sell? One filled with more than 2 decades of memories.
I think
Damn.
I was 5 or 6 when this was built.
The yard where you buried your pets.
Hold on, right now.
That's crazy.
I don't want anyone listening to this show anymore if you can't see why this woman and her children should be kicked out of their home to build a data center. I don't want you to listen to the show.
I love his like blatant sarcasm that's so obvious that goes right over a lot of people's heads. But dude, this whole data center thing is crazy. I mean, clearly with the cameras that are popping up everywhere throughout America, with the AI data centers that literally nobody wants, and then the politicians trying to claim that if you don't like AI data centers and if you don't like flock cameras, then you're like a terrorist or something. It's actually crazy, dude, the level of dishonesty that comes from the government and the amount of fuckery. They do not represent a single American person. Well, maybe a single American person, but a very, very small number of people who are just idiots and watch TV still, on the actual TV cable network. Like, these are the people who are being represented, I guess, and that's just because they're misinformed, honestly. These politicians, dog, I'm so sick of them. Everybody's so sick of them. How do we get rid of them is the question. Because it's no longer how do we get better politicians in Congress. Clearly, all of Congress is compromised. All of the Senate is compromised. And pretty much every branch of the government is compromised. So how do you fix it at that point? If the rot is that deep, you have to literally get rid of everybody. Personally, what I would do, and I'm not even kidding, is I would have a raffle, basically, where everybody's name is entered into it. Like everybody in a state, and if your name is pulled out of the raffle, guess what? You're a congressman for the next 4 years.
Truly, I don't want you to listen to the program. If you can't see the need to kick this family out of that home so that they can build a data center for Kevin O'Leary, I don't want you to listen to the show.
Dude, that's the other thing. Kevin O'Leary, this fucking dude who cried about seeing a watch that was expensive, is going to tell us how we need to live our lives, dude. Get the hell out of here. All these rich bastards coming in, buying up the land. Bill Gates buying all the aquifers and then saying that in a year water's going to run out while he's also helping build data centers. The same guy who helped push the COVID thing, which turned out to be completely fake. And Fauci is literally probably going to go to jail for refusing to sell his buddies down the river, but only for a year maximum in a cushy prison. So it really doesn't even matter if he even does get caught. If he even does get put in jail, it still will mean nothing.
If billionaires cannot kick families out of their generational homes to build data centers, I don't want to live in this country. Sorry. And I don't want you listening to the show. If there's even a small part of you, if there's even a tiny smidgen of you that says to yourself, hey, that does seem a little fucked up. Fuck you, man. Wow. I want my billionaires to be happy. And they like data centers. Here's the thing about billionaires. They love data centers.
They love them.
They like having sex with children, and they like data centers.
Dude, Tim Dillon, he just does not give a fuck, and he is so right, dude. These rich fuckers, I always say this, dude. This is how it goes with a lot of people, especially the most depraved, the people who seek out money like this, right? When you don't have anything, you try to get what you need. Once you have what you need, you start to try to find what you want. Once you have all the things you want, you try to get all the things that you can have. And then once you have all the things that you can have, you start looking for things that you shouldn't have and that you're not supposed to have. That's the level you get to when you reach a billion. If you're the kind of person who has more than $100 million and you're still trying to make more money as much as you can, then you're probably doing bad shit in the world that's not just fucking over your fellow man.
I don't know what they like more. It's like, children, gotta fuck them, but also data centers. I love it. It's hard.
Yeah, dude.
What do they like more? Children on an island who they kill.
Honestly, if you gave rich people and politicians the option between the two, and you said you could have one, but you can't have both, there's no way they'd be able to decide because they're such depraved monsters that they wouldn't be able to make the choice. They need them both.
Or data centers. Hard to know. But we
also, why are the data centers pointing at the fronts of gun stores? Why are the data centers pointing at pools? Like swimming pools? Like, what are we doing here? Obviously, it's for mass surveillance, and this is some, like, China-level stuff. But everybody wants to say China's a surveillance state, but America is becoming one at an increasingly alarming rate. It's becoming one incredibly fast.
Want them to be happy because otherwise, blah, blah, China, blah, blah, China, China, we'll lose to China, blah, blah, China, China, blah, blah, China, China, blah, China. So that's just the truth. If you have any objection to this mother and her children being thrown on the street for a data center, I say to you, China, China, blah, blah, China, China, blah, China, losing China, China, blah, China.
They always want to try to say you're a Chinese agent or you're a Israeli agent or you're a whatever kind of agent. You work for wherever it is whenever you don't want to work. Well, actually, not Israeli. They're actually... that's they're on the other side of it, right? Is they're saying that if you do want them, then you work for them. I think that they're just misguided fools who are so fed up with the rampant criminality that they're willing to sacrifice their freedom to try to get rid of it. And this is, in my opinion, this is a conspiracy theory take, I guess, but in my opinion, it's all part of the plan, is to make people feel so unsafe for so long that they willingly give up their rights before the government is actually willing to do anything to help the people.
What's your response to that, dummy?
But yeah, they're totally, once they get all the surveillance state in place, once they have unlimited power, they're totally going to help us then, you guys. They're totally going to help us then. Don't even trip,
Let's watch the rest of this, please.
House that fed your family.
When you talk about what being on this property means to you,
Yeah.
right? It's y'all's.
It's ours. It's our family. We belong here.
No, you
But
don't.
Ansley Brown's childhood
Data
home likely
center.
won't be here much longer. That's because the state's largest utility, Georgia Power, says it needs the area to make way.
And the AI companies, they're bad. The millionaires, they're bad. But I'll tell you what's worse than all of them. These power companies, these power monopolies that make deals with the senators in back rooms so that one day you can move into your apartment and your electric bill can be $40 a month. And then a year later, it's $70 a month. And then the year after that, it's $150 a month. Because this is actually what happened to me in real life. And now during wintertime, oh, fuck, dude. Because I don't have gas in my house. I have electric, so electric heating. In wintertime, my electric bill gets up to like $300 fucking dollars, dude. And it used to be, when I moved in, my electric bill was $40 because I barely use any electric in the house besides for my computer and my air conditioning. Like, everything else is off. I don't even have it, and like, I barely even use the other rooms. But somehow my electric has spiked this wild price. Now, this is where it gets really crazy. My electric costs just spiked up here. It's been sitting at this price for about a year and a half now. And my mother moved into my house about 6 months ago with my great-grandma. So 2 extra people, more electricity. They're watching TV and stuff. They're doing their thing. And yet the electric bill hasn't changed. So it's almost like it's just one big-ass scam where they just charge you whatever they want.
For a 35-mile-long transmission line.
Yes.
Because I for sure am using more electric now than I was 5 months ago. By like double, probably.
Power has been here for as long as Ansley's mother has owned this property. It's just beyond the tree line. Now, with the expansion of this latest project, they're looking to take the 2.5 acres the house sits on.
And And they'll
Georgia
probably
Power
succeed.
says increasing demand has outpaced the capacity of its existing grid.
They
and
always
building a
say
new
that.
transmission
And then they need to take your home from you to do it and pay you basically nothing for it. And they also need you, the taxpayer, to pay for the new facilities. I'll give you a perfect example. Ameren, the electric company, made $3 billion in profit. Now, I'm not talking about the money they made in total. I'm talking about their profit in 1 year. The very next year, they decided they were going to charge us $2.7 billion so that they could build 10 more power plants. Now, this is also, to contextualize this, about 5 years after, sorry, this is about a year after Ameren was just discovered having polluted our rivers for about 10 years straight. And they had to pay a tiny paltry fee for it. So they've been polluting our rivers for 10 years straight with their power plants. They finally got caught doing it and had to pay a tiny fee. And now they're saying that we need, and then they made $3 billion, and they're saying that we need to pay them even more money and raise our bills so that we can pay for more power plants for them to have. It's actually insane. Electric companies are the craziest scam in the entire world, at least in my eyes.
line requires acquiring more than 300 parcels of
And what
land.
can you do?
Including
There's only one electric company in your area. You can't go to another electric company. They are the monopoly. We have these anti-monopoly laws, but then we look past electricity. We look past gas. But these companies are allowed to set up entire monopolies where you can't go to anybody else.
residential properties.
What did your mom tell you she wanted for this property to be?
Generational wealth, true generational wealth was the idea.
Well, hold on, honey. Slow down.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah, let's slow
Generational
down.
wealth.
That's a small house.
Hold on. Maybe they're the greedy ones.
Well, I don't know. That's just, I mean, actually nowadays that house would probably sell for 500 G's easy.
Are they the greedy ones?
Oh my God.
Are they the greedy ones? Are these people the greedy ones? And are the billionaires good?
Oh, it's got to be what it is. And don't you love whenever you go online and you see people just sucking the dicks of billionaires, just being like, oh, well, you want to take their money away? Oh, well, they don't actually have $1 billion on hand. I know they don't actually need to have any money. They don't pay for anything. They get all of their shit for free. They get bank loans that are balanced off of their stocks imaginary value, and they never have to pay for any of their shit, dude. It like, God.
In a world where moral questions are complicated, billionaires are greedy, but so are the people in Georgia. In a world where decisions are made based on information. All right, so let's keep
That's amazing.
let's keep listening to her. Maybe she makes a good argument here, because her argument is this so far: I don't want to be thrown in the street for a data center. Keep going.
Georgia Power estimates 70 to 80% of the power on this new line is expected to help serve data centers. It says the remaining 20 to 30% of power will serve the state's growing residential and commercial demand.
What
Georgia
the
Power
fuck,
told
dude?
us that they feel it.
So 20% like that's got to be the maximum too. They're totally lying about 20 to 30. So 20% of the power that they're building is going towards the people that are paying for it, and the rest are going towards this data centers that aren't paying for it. Great.
As if they've done this process responsibly.
Yes.
What would you say to that?
I disagree. You can't tear down 35 miles of rural Georgia and it not hurt something or somebody. And to say that you're doing it in the name of data centers is a slap in the face to us, our community, our animals.
Brown's mother.
Hold on for a minute. Can you stop? I don't love her attitude.
Tim Dillon.
I don't love her attitude. I just don't love her attitude. I'm trying to understand her point of view. It's very difficult. Should we not have the data center? Well, what about China? What if China wins this AI race?
Dog, that's the thing too, is I don't even care, because China is going to win the AI race no matter what, because they don't have these dumbass draconian copyright laws that we have. Now, they go way too far to where they just don't have any copyright at all. But like our copyright laws are so draconian that there's no way we can even make a reasonable leap forward in AI and at anywhere near the same pace as them. No matter how many data centers we slap down, no matter how many rural homes we destroy.
I don't get it. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around what her point is. I'm supposed to care that she has a greenhouse? We're fighting China.
Oh my God.
So I guess the point is that
and here's the thing, if we were really fighting China, we wouldn't be doing business with them.
It's sad that you have to leave, but like, people want data centers. People really like AI, you know, especially if they have money. People without money don't like AI, but these people with money think it's going to be great.
Oh, they love it.
You ever listen to a criminal talk about AI? It's their favorite thing. Criminals love AI.
Yeah.
They love
True.
it.
True. It's a really great way to scam people, dude. I saw a tweet by John Cleese. A tweet by John Cleese 2 days ago. And he said, happy birthday to this person, because it was a picture of a kid with no hands and burns all over him. And it was like, oh, my kid, no one's going to wish my kid a happy birthday. Wish him a happy birthday. He's all hurt and stuff. And then you click on the person, and then you click on the new thing that Twitter has now, or X, or whatever you want to call it, where it's like, all right, well, we can see where you're from, and it says South Asia. And it's like, well, you were claiming to be European. You're from South. You're literally posting this from South Asia. It's obviously AI. So you had to post and you had to tell John Cleese, dog, you got, dude. Sorry, John Cleese, but you got AI'd, man. It happens to the best of us.
They love it. Why don't we send this family to Miami?
By the way, dude, what the hell is South Asia? I mean, I'm so confused because we could say Africa, we could say it'll specifically say Britain or France or Germany. It'll say North America, it'll say South America, it'll say Canada. But then whenever we get over to, and it'll even say Russia, but whenever we get over to Asia, it just says South Asia, East Asia, North Asia, and West Asia. What are we even doing here? What, like, is it on, I don't even understand. Is it a specific way to obfuscate where they're actually from so that dumb Americans like me don't understand? Because it works.
You can sit down with a couple of Adderall snorting criminals. They talk about AI. I'm sure they'll feel better. Don't they understand that they should be using AI to build their personal brand? Here's what I would ask AI.
If you don't wake up at 4 a.m. and do a million push-ups and run and then drink cold spring water, then you're losing or something. I don't know.
If I was them, hey, ChatGPT, can you turn my personal brand into from homeless bum into thriving entrepreneur? How do I do that? Let's keep watching this. This is obviously very sad. But I got to be honest.
This is the thing, too, is I'm not even an AI hater. I actually like a lot of uses of AI. I have fun with AI. AI music is fun to mess around with, and I'm a musician. I play a lot of instruments, and I still have fun with the AI music. AI videos are fun to fuck around with. The thing is when you go from fucking around with them or doing creative, fun shit with them to trying to scam people or trying to push a certain thing or whatever, push your values, push your message and trick people, which AI is really good at. Or if you're using AI to try to tell you something and you trust it to tell you the truth. Dog, there's way too many times where I've gotten on an AI and asked it a question that I know the answer to, and it gives me 1/4 of the answer or just flat out lies.
The more I think about it, I am starting to see what the billionaires are saying, because here's the billionaires' point. Okay, let's give them a fair hearing. The billionaires' point is this family could live somewhere else. That's what they're saying. They're saying, hey,
you could build your data center somewhere else. That's the other thing. We have all this unused land in the middle of the fucking desert. Build your data center there.
Live here today, but maybe not
Oh
tomorrow.
no, it's gonna burn. Oh no, it's gonna be too hot. I don't care. I don't care. Don't build it on our land. That's crazy.
So let's finish this.
Agreement with Georgia Power to sell. Brown says if she didn't, the utility could have sought to acquire her property.
Here's
through
how you
eminent
do this. By the way, here's how you do this.
Yeah.
You got to give them like so much.
Eminent domain. My grandma got hit with this. It was bullshit. They wanted my great grandma. They wanted to take her house for so long, and they finally did. And whenever they finally got it from her, they ended up paying her like $36,000 for the house and the property. Turned around, sold it for $3 million. This government did. The state did. And then those people built this McMansion on it and sold it for $10 million. So out of the $10 million that came from the house, the $3 million that came from the property, my grandma got $36,000.
More than the value of the house.
That's eminent domain for you.
You got to go in and go, what's your house worth? 300,000, 350. Here's $2 million. Now your kids go to school and everything. Now I'm not for this. I think this is all a big problem, and it's the extermination of the human race. Which, if the government's listening, I hope they accept class in a classy way.
Well,
Be classy.
All of the richest people and the biggest people, besides for a select few, have been talking about how they want to scale down how many humans there are. They've been saying it out loud for a long time. Bill Gates being one of the most outspoken about it. So I don't see this outside of the realm of possibility for them to actively seek this out. To be honest, I mean, I know he's making big jokes and stuff, but that's kind of his thing, is to tell hard truths through jokes and sarcasm. But dog, I fully believe that. I fully believe that the rich people are trying to replace us with robots. Why do they have poor people? Why have poor people been around for a long time? It's so that we can work for them. It's so that we can do their labor for them. But once they no longer need us for the labor, once they have robots to do the labor, do you think you're still going to be useful to them? Do you think you're still going to be kept around and they're going to pay you some basic minimum wage or whatever, some universal basic income to stay alive? Or do you think it's much more likely that they just let you die and turn the other cheek and don't even look at you while they're doing it?
Gal or guy about it. But, you got to give people a shitload of money. But let's keep finishing this because this is interesting. This is our biggest historic thing.
Yeah.
Could have sought to acquire her property.
That happens to me too, where I'm halfway through saying something and then I just completely forget the word I'm going to say. That just happened to him for sure.
Through eminent domain, a legal process that allows private property to be taken with compensation for projects determined to serve a public purpose.
All power generation starts somewhere.
Holly Lovett is
That's
a Georgia Power spokesperson.
Good.
Eminent domain is always, a last resort.
Word
for us,
up, hey,
and
baby.
it's something we never want to do.
Never want to do, except whenever you just feel like it. Because you don't have to do this to anybody.
It's theft. It's literally
Shut
a
up.
billion-dollar
Get her outta here.
company stealing land
We've heard
from
her point.
smaller people who can't fight back.
You
We don't
can't.
have the money to fight Georgia Power.
So that's why a few
Is
months
that their
ago,
fault?
Ansley took her story to TikTok.
My childhood home is being taken by Georgia
Oh,
Power.
God.
She
TikTok
began
again.
sharing stories of others in similar situations.
What is it taking from her? Look behind me.
By the way, here's the point.
That's cool. I like this lady. More people need to get out there and actually do something about the problems that they're having in their lives and in the world. That is the truth, including myself.
Here's what that should happen.
Look, one day in the future, this book is going to run for politics. I promise you that. One day in the future, I am going to run for a political office, and I'm going to run on the platform of telling every other politician that they're an idiot and we all hate them. Except my language will be much more colorful.
If they want to make a point, okay? And I'm not, and I don't, me, I don't say anything lightly on the show. I consider everything I say, I consider. If they want to make a point about this, they have to blow themselves up or something. Like they have to strap bombs to themselves and blow themselves up.
See, he's taking it to the absurdum, but in a way, if you look past the absurdity of his statement and look to the actual truth of what he's saying, he is right. You can't just use your words. Like, there's the whole new saying of we're not voting our way out of this, boys, because when things get so bad, there's usually a actual, like, activist reaction to it. It doesn't always have to be a violent one. Like the civil rights movement was like a largely nonviolent movement, right? But there is going to be some sort of revolution, that will happen if all these rich people and politicians don't start acting right. The age of the internet is here, and with that, the age of information. People who didn't grow up with the internet were not ready for this, right? But where we're at now, people are 30 years old, 40 years old who grew up on the internet, who literally grew up using it pretty much their whole life. These people are now running businesses. They're running for politics finally. They're in charge of certain things. They got more power in their life. And these same people have the ability and the knowledge of how to talk to people across the world. And this could prove to be a very bad scenario for the elite if we decide to actually do something and, like, organize as a people to actually just, like, make our politicians work for us. Personally, I'm of the belief where if you're a politician and your country is in a deficit, then you don't get paid at all. You get no money until your country is no longer in the negative. That's how I feel.
Go like, hey, you want
or at least a balanced budget to where you're not gaining more debt.
You want our home? Well, guess what? We're going to do y'all a favor and we're going to fucking level it for you. Hey, Georgia Power. And see, then it might get some attention, but it wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work because
that
the AI
work.
people would go, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then, but here's the thing. If you want to have a moral victory, you do have to.
If you do that, though, if you if you actually do what he's saying there, then you're just playing into the AI data center owners' hands, because their whole deal is that they want you to look like a terrorist, because that's already what they're claiming you are. So if you go and do some terrorist type shit, then that's just going to strengthen their argument, which is the last thing you want to do. I know he's joking about it, but if you're taking it in a serious light, don't, because this is the worst possible thing you could do. What you need to do is organize, talk to your local politicians, make your voice heard, and then, like in Missouri, where the entire town voted no for an AI data center, the city council decided they were going to put one in anyway. And so they voted out every single member of the city council and replaced them with people who said no to AI data centers, and then impeached the mayor. As long as you are actually active in your government, as long as you are actually there and paying attention, then it's a lot harder for them to fuck you over. And most things actually happen at the local level. Most things that are fucking up your life aren't happening in the... there's a lot of stuff that's fucking up your life that's happening in Congress. Don't get me wrong. And those people are the biggest scumbag scam artists in the world. But if you didn't know this, most of the shit's happening at the local level, at your mayor, at your governor, maybe the state level. But even then, it's usually the city to the the zip code you live in or whatever. The districts. I don't know how to explain it. It's late night for me right now, but you smell what I'm stepping in, go to your local government meetings if you really want to have change.
To be willing to become a suicide bomber. Folks, I'm telling you, I'm not this whole thing is satirical. Look at this. We have the lobster here. But I'm saying this. She has to be willing to walk into Georgia Power with a suicide vest on and blow it up. And if she's not, there's nothing to do. You have to be willing to engage and become a suicide bomber.
All right, this is crazy speech that he's doing right here. Protected speech, but still crazy speech, dude. That's wild. However, I do believe, I will say this. I think that the government and schools and everything have been spending a large amount of time teaching us that there is never a form of political violence that's acceptable. It's literally never, ever acceptable. Unless you're George Washington, or the people of France, or anywhere else that's ever had a revolution, or Iran, how they want them to do it right now. Those places, it's acceptable, but here, it's never, ever acceptable, you guys. Never, ever acceptable, right? You just have to keep letting people fuck you forever. Now, I want to be clear. I don't believe in political violence myself. Maybe the propaganda got to me. But right now in America, I think we are. I know there's a lot of doomer mentality that says you can't vote your way out of this, but I don't agree with that. I think we're still in a place where we have the political ability to get out of it. Now, is our time running out? Probably pretty fast with all these data centers and flock cameras and everything coming up. But as of right now, we still have a chance to take back our political system through actual voting. Honestly, I do believe that. And hopefully more people can just get involved. Whatever you believe, whether you're left wing, right wing, center, however you feel, just get involved, dude. Because I can promise you that these politicians right now don't care about you. And as long as you care about your neighbor, as long as you care about your family, you care about the well-being of America, I really don't care what your beliefs are. You know, I mean, obviously there are certain people I agree with and certain people I disagree with, people I'd be willing to vote for and people I wouldn't. But I still think you should be involved if you want America to become the place that it should be. The place that it was once.
Right, because we don't have the money to fight Georgia Power. You're absolutely right, but you have your jacket, and you could put a bomb in it, and you could walk into a building and blow it up.
That's crazy. Although somehow we have been convinced that the only way to stop people from stealing your shit is to take them to court, and when it's a corporation or a government, then it becomes exceedingly more difficult, and then they just get to take your shit, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's crazy to me. I mean, the right to bear arms was given to us not to protect ourselves from our neighbors, but to protect ourselves from tyrannical government. So if someone literally comes onto your land and tells you they're taking it from you, and there's nothing you can do, I mean, I'm not saying you should do anything, but... You know.
And that's going to, and I'm not calling for it. I don't want it to happen. This is a satirical program.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I'm not calling for anybody to physically stop anybody, but the thing is crazy to me that we have this whole system built up, and everybody wants to argue about self-defense, but that's literally not what it's for.
But I will tell you this.
It helps. It's good to have, but that's not the reason we have it.
You know, that's...
And also, since this is going to be posted... Sorry, I'll go back 5 seconds. Since this is going to be posted, I'll go ahead and put this out here, too. Anybody who thinks that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson didn't know what an automatic weapon was, didn't think that they could be conceived, and thought it was only muzzle-loaded muskets back then, you know nothing about firearms. The automatic weapon has existed since basically firearms have existed, or at least the concept of them. Whenever they were fighting the Revolutionary War, they had a few prototypes of basically a revolver rifle that had like 12 shots in it that it could take before it needed to be reloaded. And it could just boom, 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 you know. So they knew about automatic weapons. They knew about semi-auto weapons. They realized that these things would exist. Back then, by the way, You know what the like strongest thing you could have was as a military was like a cannon, right? Like a cannon was one of the most powerful things you could have. As a regular civilian, you were 100% within your rights to own a cannon. So, if you were to extrapolate this realistically, as an American citizen, realistically, if we followed our laws, we should be able to buy a tank. I mean, just realistically speaking. Now, you can't have a tank because then you could go and hurt a bunch of other people. And this is where the problem comes in with the divide of mentality. Because if we all still had the same, or at least for the most part, a shared morality and a shared mentality, then this would not be an issue. And you could let people, have a tank, basically, if they wanted to. Because you would be way, way, way less likely of that scenario turning deadly. If everybody has a similar moral compass. Whenever you start getting a lot of people with different moral compasses, though, and you start, I don't know. I don't know how to get into this without getting too political. So I guess I just have to. But if you start letting people come in with like completely different values from other countries, then you're going to have a country with no values. You're going to have a country with no morals. Everybody wants to act like it's a country that gives a people its culture, and it's the complete opposite thing. It is the people who give a country its culture. 100%. So if you take those people and you switch them out for a different people, you're going to get a different culture. You take those people, you take out American people, you replace them with anybody else in the world, then you're going to get that culture from that part of the world just on American land. I mean, that's obvious. Anybody who doesn't think that is the actual racist, for real. To say that cultures don't exist? Are you saying cultures don't exist? Then you must be a racist, because I know cultures exist. And I know that cultures come from places and people. They come from people, not places, So, but culture doesn't just change overnight. You don't just show up at someone's house and then decide you're one of their family members one day and now they have to let you live in their house. That's crazy.
But I will tell you this. That's kind of the move, I think, for a lot of these people, unfortunately, that are encountering all this stuff, is they will have to start getting suicide vests. Because we always judged the suicide bombers when we grew up. We're like, those people are crazy. But now you're like, oh, maybe a lot of them just felt like they didn't have a choice. Truly.
Well,
Truly.
I mean, why else would you do that? That's my real question. Like, I mean, there's a religious aspect to it, but why else would you realistically do that unless you thought you had no other choice? Because if you had any other choice, like let's say if you could just run in and plant the damn thing, you would probably do that instead.
Now, I'm no fan of suicide bombing, and I would never, ever call for it or want to do it myself. But I am saying that if this family wants to fight back, it is maybe their only option is to start. Because think about American suicide bombers for a minute. Let's just let our mind go there. It is interesting.
That's a wild thought.
It is kind of interesting to think about, like an American suicide bomber at like a mall, Godiva, that chocolate store, just blowing it up, and then it's just fudge, just chocolate everywhere, kind of like a Willy Wonka. Just walk into a mall, Godiva, and just go. All right, let's finish this here.
Taking this entire backyard.
What do you say to someone who will push back on any sort of offer that's out there and say, well, a price tag can't replace memories?
Oh gosh, it almost makes me emotional because I have those memories in like my house, and I get how deeply personal people's homes are.
But I deserve your home because I'm a heartless robotic bitch.
Just say that.
But
we see you and we hear you, and we want this process to be respectful and transparent.
You gotta blow it up.
And that is going to ultimately benefit.
You gotta blow it up.
You.
Brown doesn't
What?
buy that. And while she knows it's too late to save her home, she says she doesn't want to see this happen to anyone else.
My mom wants an apology. She wants an apology from Georgia Power. That's it.
And it's because of how she feels as if she's been treated.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's such a. I'm sorry, guys, and I don't mean this that badly, but that's such a feminine thing to say. Hell no, don't give up, dude. Hell no, dude. Double down, man. Get up in there, keep your shit, chain yourself to the tree outside. Fucking don't let them tear it down. I don't know, dude. I couldn't imagine giving up like this. Like when they took the house from my great grandmother, I was out of state. Like I was miles, like literally on the other side of the country, and I had no vehicle. By the time I had even heard it was happening, it had already happened. So like, I don't know. I feel like if maybe I'm just talking here, but I feel like if I could have been there, I would have just been like, no. But then again, what are you going to do? They'll take you to jail. They'll take your ass to jail. That was probably where I would have went, to be fair. If I was there, I would have had a whole freak out. Because that was my childhood home, and that was taken from me. So I definitely feel this lady. But I don't know, we've given up too many times. We've got to stop these people from stealing our childhood homes, dude. My grandma now has been basically hopping from grandchild's house to grandchild's house to live and to be okay because her house was taken from her that she built up with her husband. You know, like that generations of my family were raised in. And then it was just taken and torn down and a McMansion was built on top. It's despicable and it's disgusting and I hate that it happened.
I mean,
So I feel her.
for an entire year, they have bullied her. And there is no sorry. So that's what we want. We want an apology from Georgia Power.
Honey, put on the vest. Baby cakes. You're not getting an apology. Put on the vest. Walk in Georgia Power with that woman who just did that interview. And that woman who just did that interview and say, I've been thinking about it. And I want to come in and I wanted an apology from you, but I actually want to give you an apology. I understand that you're in a tough position. And I understand that you're just doing your job. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I'm just doing mine.
That would be a badass
And then the
monologue.
woman's going to look at her and say, thank you for understanding. You know? And then you just look at her and you go, Inshallah.
Oh my god, dude, Tim Dillon is hilarious. I mean, yeah, maybe this hits a little home to me because yeah, we did have our family home, my great grandmother's house, taken from us by eminent domain and shit. So it's pretty disgusting stuff to me. My great grandma's literally one of the best people in the whole world. So I'm very happy that I could help her out and she can live with me now. I've been asking her to live with me for years, but I had a dog and she was afraid of it. So, and now he's passed away, so she's living here. You know, it is what it is. But if we could have still had that house, dude, if I could still visit my childhood home, it would mean a lot. But it's impossible for me now.